Welcome, everybody, to episode 2 of Keep Your Torch Lit, the podcast covering Survivor Michigan. This week, we're going to be talking about episode 2 of Victor's Valiant, titled Amateur Homicide Detective.
Wow, awesome. That's quite the title. I wonder who said that, you know? Yeah. It's kind of just like whenever I hear the tribe name Maison, I'm like, what? I wonder who said that.
Who said that?
I can't remember, honestly, but I feel like I get the same feeling when I hear Amateur Homicide Detective. Like,
exactly.
Who said that?
I don't know.
Just to let you guys know, because we are somewhat of a new podcast, my name is Sam Morris, and I am a senior at Michigan, and I was on season 2 of Survivor Michigan.
Whoa, spoilers.
Oh, no.
I am Jack Tiggleman. I'm also a senior at University of Michigan, and I was also on season 2 of Survivor Michigan.
I'm Sarah Z. I actually already graduated from Michigan, and I'm working in Chicago now, but I was also on season 2 of Survivor Michigan. Wild season.
Like this podcast is basically 2 college students and some random adult who lives in Chicago that decides to call in.
Some random
I know, I need to move on, but I'm never going to move on.
Yeah. She graduated from the Ross School of Business, just in case you didn't know that.
I did.
Yeah. A school where there's a lot of, very interesting people.
Yes.
So shall we just jump right into it?
Yeah. Well,
this was a packed episode. It was even longer than the introduction.
Yeah, I feel like a lot went down, and I'm excited to talk about this episode.
A lot went down, a lot went up, a lot went sideways. All the directions. So we have a lot of directions to talk about.
Oh yeah. So, starting from after Tribal, what did you guys think about Levana's cover-up?
Well, one of the best cover-ups I've ever seen. Just fantastic. That like multiple other people commented on, that they just all suddenly entered this mind space at Tribal Council and suddenly flipped the target, even though that's not what they were planning on doing the whole time. Like it's just amazing how much Levana's mind skills are able to do that.
Yeah, I really, I guess I wouldn't expect anything less from an acting student. Exactly. To be able to, telepathically communicate with the rest of her tribe. Mm-hmm. Clearly, something that she offers that a lot of other people don't. I honestly think that that's like probably something you would want in an ally, because if it's something like a tribal council, you can switch your vote that quickly without even having to say any words. So I think it's pretty brilliant how she was able to do that.
Yeah, that's insane. I feel like in acting class, they probably do some sort of telepathic exercises.
Definitely.
I feel like that's something they would do.
Yeah, for sure. So we know for sure that she has, I'm going to get into the computer lingo here. She has right access to other people's minds, where she can tell the name to other people. But does that also allow her to have read access to other people's minds? Like, can she read what other people are doing? Because if she can do that, then she is going to be the best Survivor player ever.
Maybe that's what the sunglasses are for. Like, maybe she does that so she's hiding people. That she's really reading their minds.
Because really, her eyes are turning just bright purple, while she's doing this, and rolling back into her head, and going into the minds of the other players.
I mean, there's no.
That's terrifying.
That's terrifying. I mean, that's when we talked about the Levana experience last week. It's just something we never could have foreseen.
Never. But she could have foreseen it, because she can also see the future. I'm pretty sure.
My gosh! Wow, that's almost scary. She already knows that we said this. Mm-hmm. That's ridiculous. But I think the thing is, though, her allies, Cooper and Akshay, didn't understand this mind reading stuff she was doing, and to them, it just really sounded like a really awful cover-up. I don't know. See, the thing is, it makes me a little bit worried for that trio of okay, this has only been 1 week, and you already have a member of your trio that you said you're going to stick with, saying ridiculous stuff, to other people in the tribe. And so it's on one hand, is that something that starts to worry you? Mm-hmm. Just something where you're it doesn't really matter because Jonathan and Angela are on the outside anyways. I'm kind of curious what Cooper and Akshay were thinking in that moment. Or also the Alexes and Kara.
Yeah.
That's true. I think personally that would make me nervous, just because they didn't really discuss what to talk about after as a cover-up, and she kind of just went off on her own tangent, and so that might be sort of a loose cannon behavior.
Exactly. But also that if I were one of them, I could also see that okay, she's obviously making herself out into a threatening person. I feel like we could get votes on her if we ever had to. Like if once Jonathan's gone, if they vote out Angela next, like maybe Coop and Akshay have now power to like flip on Lavana to save themselves. Like we don't know like what her mind reading abilities will be able to do. Like we should vote her out to be safe.
True.
Yeah, you might want to get rid of the mind reader because you never know. And you know what? I also feel like Lavana is somebody who in the first episode talked about like never having seen Survivor or having very limited knowledge of Survivor. Like I remember she said something like, "Yeah, and so we're just like, I've seen this season, and I was just like, oh yeah, same." When really, she is only fake when she wants to be, and when she's talking about her Survivor knowledge, apparently that's the time where she wants to be fake because she doesn't really know anything. So I guess that's something where she might end up growing a lot in the course of the game and learning a lot more. You might, maybe if you're Cooper or Akshay, you could see potential for her to grow. You also might see, this is somebody that doesn't know a lot. This is somebody that I could probably manipulate. Or maybe underestimate. You never know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, or maybe you just think that they're a loose cannon that could end up messing things up. So I feel like there's a lot there, and I'm kind of curious to see how it plays out.
Yeah. And we actually get, after Tribal, we get a lot of the other tribe, the Maison tribe. And I think the first meeting was Matthew and Brittany.
Oh, yeah. I was excited to see a lot more of Maison because we didn't really get to see a ton of them last week. So I definitely enjoyed getting to know the rest of the characters there because Matthew's really the only one I felt last week like I saw a ton of.
Yeah.
I'm just, one of my favorite things about College Survivor is that you can spend a lot more time with people, even if they don't go to tribal council, because you can be like, this episode was like an hour and 3 minutes. There's only one challenge. So like we got to spend a lot of time with Maison, even though they didn't end up going to tribal council this episode.
Very true. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. Sarah, you were talking about, was it Matthew and Brittany?
Oh yeah. I wanted to comment on, how Brittany presents herself in her confessionals. I think I really like the way she she's a very good narrator, but I like how she kind of talks with very little change in intonation in her voice. I feel like she just says everything with a super straight face, but it's just the Brittany way of telling stories. It's very unique, I feel like.
It's great.
It's true. Yeah.
She's definitely a great character, so far, that I'm excited to hopefully watch more of.
Yeah.
And see how she evolves. Maybe if she's going to become more, self-confident and assured of herself. But I hope it'll be really cool to see her kind of evolve through the season.
Ooh.
Yeah. And she talked more about her superfan stuff this episode. And one of the main stars, I think, of this episode was her Nana. What do you guys think?
Oh, yeah. Nana. Oh, my gosh. So we're gonna have to get back to Nana later.
Yeah.
Because I kind of think that Nana, I think personally that would be a great topic for our social media.
Whoa! Oh, yeah. I don't think there's anybody else I'd rather see more of than Nana Silverman. So hopefully this isn't her first appearance. Hopefully this isn't her only appearance this season. I would love to see her more. Maybe a family visit down the line.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I would love for her to be the family visit.
Yeah.
Before we get to that, though, I have for you guys a little bit of the insider info. Whoa!
Insider info.
The insider info here is that the relationships between Matthew and Brittany, you mentioned that was shown right away. And some of the other relationships shown on Maison and their little 6-person alliance that formed, that stuff actually took place in week 1 and not in week 2. And the reason it was kind of moved to week 2 was in order to spend more time on kind of the storyline for Neela in the first vote. But all this stuff happening with Brittany and Matthew and everybody, and Liz and Mitch and Leia and Cam, a lot of that stuff shown in episode 2 actually happened in week 1.
Interesting.
And that was one of the things I wanted to comment on because Brittany, and you guys mentioned kind of the straight-faced, little bit monotone, whatever, in confessionals, unsure of herself. I think that stuff probably is more. That stuff is still. I think a lot of this footage is still week 1 stuff.
Oh yeah.
For the clue. So, I definitely do think that there's also an extent to there's kind of a hump you need to get past on Survivor or College Survivor, where you're not really used to the cameras at first.
Yeah.
I think over time you kind of get more used to it. So I definitely do. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's like I love Brittany's monotone, whatever. The stuff she does in her confessionals, she definitely has her own way of doing confessionals. It's hilarious.
I love it.
But I also think that like a lot of this stuff and how people carry themselves does change. People just get more used to the camera and more confident. So that's one thing to note on too, that a lot of this stuff is kind of just like this episode. A lot is happening in the first week of the game. A lot of these Maison relationships, although shown in episode 2, I think happened even earlier, but I was really excited to kind of like delve into them more.
Yeah.
Kind of see what was going on over there. Cause it definitely seemed pretty interesting.
Yeah. So, let's dive into that 6-person alliance. So we get the guys first saying that they're going to come up with this plan that each of the guys is going to manage one girl, and then they're going to have this amazing 6.
Oh, of course. Classic. You know, that was Mitch that said that.
Yeah, it was
Mitch.
Was it Mitch?
Business.
Yeah. So Mitch is just I think each of us need. I need to get a better accent.
Oh, his accent.
Yeah.
He does have an accent. He goes like, Cam, and Matthew, we all need to. I'll micromanage one of the girls.
Micromanage.
And
I learned in my class at the Raw School of Business about managing.
about managing people. I'm very good at managing. I think that us guys just gotta go and manage them and get a good old golly 6-person alliance where, oh gosh, we can just kind of take over the game. And I think my mom will be very proud of that.
I didn't notice that Mitch had an accent until this episode, actually. I don't know what it was, but it just popped out at me.
It's just really coming out.
It's a very wholesome accent.
Oh, yeah.
If somehow there's a such thing as a wholesome accent, I think that's what it would be. Like, it just sounds like he just wants to, oh golly, I would just love to have a good old warm apple pie with you and my mother bakes. Actually, I know how to bake too because my mother taught me how to. And I would just love to sit down with you. Oh, gosh.
And just manage an apple pie together.
Exactly.
Almost like a Fargo accent.
Mitch.
In that movie.
Aww.
He's great.
Mitch is amazing. In his defense, we do have management classes in Ross. We have a lot of management and organization classes, aka MO, that we have to take. So, he's just in the mindset.
He's just in the Ross mindset. But exactly. I did think it was kind of funny how the guys definitely felt like they were the ones kind of in control of making things happen. And especially Matthew saying, branding himself as the mastermind of this 6-person alliance.
And he's saying, like, if there's one thing that keeps me up at night, it's like the girls all working together.
Oh, no. The girls are going to rise up one day and overtake us.
What could possibly be worse than that? So
nothing, apparently.
I really hope that's foreshadowing, some sort of girls getting together to get out Matthew. I think that'd be really great. We can get more into kind of some edit talk later, but I feel like there's some definitely foreshadowing being set up with these girls kind of being like kind of more powerful. Like I really like this group of 3 girls in this alliance. So we talked about Britt, but Leia is just like she's just such a great character.
Leia,
we didn't know her that much.
We're gonna get into Leia later, a little bit later.
Yeah,
Leia is great.
I feel like the 3 of them all bring something different to the table. Like I feel like they're not similar people. Like they're pretty different.
Oh yeah.
Like Brittany's like the super fan, more I feel like low key strategist, and then Liz I feel like super social and like like I feel like she's very approachable. And then Leia's just like hardcore. I think would be super good in challenges. Like she just like knows her shit,
Yeah, super competitive.
I love that she beat Cooper. That was just a great moment.
Yeah,
seeing the 2 friends go up against each other. Cooper's like straight face. She's just like grinning at him because she lives for the intensity. I was like, that's amazing. I thought it was funny because like, so the Matthew Brittany relationship, it seemed like they were getting a decent amount of screen time. At the beginning, and it'll be interesting to see how that develops. I think at one point Brittany called Matthew like her closest ally. Was that true? Did I see that?
Yeah, and Matt also said that he felt Brittany was super honest at heart and that he really wants to work with her, which I feel like is a really big compliment coming from Matt because I feel like he's not someone who really likes people easily. Like he said, he didn't like anyone on Neela, so
Yeah,
That's
true.
a compliment.
you can warm Matthew's grouchy heart, his
Exactly.
analytic heart.
He's like a little Grinch.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's like a survivor Grinch. And he's instead of being obsessed with Christmas, he's just obsessed with the game.
Yeah.
But I don't know how that honestly probably breaks down because he actually loves the game. I don't know. It's just I just like the word Grinch.
Yeah.
I guess I'm curious about whether Matthew is closer with Brittany or with Cam. Because in the first episode, it really seemed like it was hyping up this like Matthew and Cam thing. So it's kind of like, but it didn't really show them together at all in the second episode. So I'm kind of curious, like, is it going to be the hawk and the lemur, taking over, or they're going to move over and kind of like,
what is Brittany?
By the girls that he so wanted to.
What?
He was so afraid of them banding up, and then he was okay all of a sudden with like the three guys linking up with the three. Oh, I guess managing.
Managing. So what animal is Brittany?
Oh, what animal is Brittany? Oh,
You mentioned deer in the first one,
I don't know.
but I think we can give her a better one.
I know. I feel like that's her episode 1 animal, but I don't know if that's her
Yeah.
animal for the game. So
She like morphs.
yeah,
She's an anamorph.
she's an animal.
Maybe a
Just
cat.
trying to picture like a Brittany deer animal.
Like,
I don't know. Man, I'm sure Jack knows computer stuff. He has computer science. Maybe he could make that.
I'll take a look at it.
Maybe there's an Animorph app somewhere
Yeah.
where you can just do that.
I feel like she's someone who slinks by but knows everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Like a
maybe
fox.
it's
an animal like
I feel
that.
yeah, she's a
Fox.
fox.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Fox.
a rare, like a
Yeah.
white fox.
Yeah.
Like a rare one.
That's kind of,
Oh,
it's kind of looking around in the
An
background.
albino one.
Albino fox.
That's such a specific.
No, that's
animal.
perfect.
I
I
can
love
see
it.
that. Yeah. And it's kind of like, yeah, it sees you, but you don't see it. So I don't know. Is the hawk gonna go with albino fox? Or is it gonna go with the lemur? That's a questions that keep me up at night. Just like Matthew's kept up at night thinking about women lionesses. So yeah, I don't know.
All right, so let's get to the challenge now. So I love this challenge. This is a kind of classic Survivor challenge. But I really like the little twist of you can't step on the block M. It's that I think that was a really nice little tie-in to like, actual Michigan campus stuff with like the challenge. So yeah.
Oh, and do you want to explain the story of the M to people who don't go to Michigan?
Oh yeah, it's a good idea.
Oh yeah. So the story is that if you step on the Michigan M right in the diag, which is the diag is it's like the center of campus. There's a big black M, and if you step on it, that means that you're gonna fail your first blue book, which is like your first exam. So it's really bad luck to step on it. It's like seen as like disrespect, and there's like a legend behind it for what happens if you step on it. So
Yeah.
Have you guys ever stepped on the M?
I don't think I have.
Well, when I was a freshman, I was actually visiting Michigan before my freshman year, and we had just like as a big orientation group like went and saw this movie, and there's like this really wacky movie called Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. Anyways, it was just like blew my mind. I'd never seen an indie movie before, but of course you go to Ann Arbor and that's like all everybody watches.
Yeah, no blockbusters.
Yeah. By the way, quick plug for anything by what was his name? Like they made The Lobster and the Favorite.
I don't know his name. It's like Antonio Largoria something. I don't know.
He has a Greek last name,
he's
but
great.
He's great. Me and Jack saw this weird movie that he made, and our group is the only people that weren't 40 that were there. Anyways, I saw this like weird indie movie, and I was like, my mind was blown. I was like talking about it. I was trying to like talk to the person next to me, and I was like trying to just figure out what happened. And then all of a sudden they're just like, they get us stepped on the M. I'm like, stepped on the M. I just like walked a path right through it.
Wow.
I'm like,
Oh my
I was
god.
like terrified, and like I was humiliated because I was in front of like everybody. They're like, ha ha ha, like freshmen. So, it did happen.
And did you fail your first blue book?
No, I got an A, but I've failed many other things since then.
It was a delay.
Yeah, it was delayed.
Got
Maybe it just like
Yeah.
didn't even kick in until my junior year, and then I got screwed in everything at once. But
Whoa.
that's how it happens for some people. But we're not talking about me. We're talking about the challenge. Who definitely didn't step on the M and get bad luck on the challenge was Cam. Cam was the beast out there.
Yeah.
The thing is, Cam used the technique that Matthew was talking about in his confessional. Whereas Matthew failed to do it, Cam did it perfectly.
That was hilarious. I loved how
Yeah.
I loved that.
Edgar's just having a field day with Matthew. Like, just him saying he's so confident because he has this perfect strategy, when literally he does not even try the strategy at all. I don't.
I mean, Cam executes it perfectly.
Yeah,
that was just great. And that's the thing. They're such a good alliance. They pick each other up. You know, where Cam doesn't spend enough time at night dreaming about nightmares about girls' alliances. Matthew does, where Matthew can't execute the strategy and the challenge. Cam does. You just make a perfect pairing.
Wow, you're right. I was gonna say, when it was Akshay versus Nikhil, and Akshay was like, "Gotta represent our people."
That was great.
That was hilarious. I feel like I haven't seen a ton of Nikhil yet, so I guess that was a funny way to kind of like introduce him some more. Because I swear he only got like one confessional last episode.
He's wearing this great Mario shirt in the confessional, which I love. But
that was a great shirt. You said that. We were watching it in this big room with a bunch of people, and it's silent. And Jack just goes, "I really like the shirt that Nikhil is wearing."
Nikhil is a style icon.
Yeah, I hope that he is on more and can show us more ways that we should dress.
Exactly.
But yes, I don't know what his thing is. Is him and Akshay, are they going to link up now? Because I mean, Akshay says, like that we got to represent our people. Like, is that gonna extend beyond just the challenge? Is he gonna want to like link up with Nikhil later on? I don't know.
Brown Person Alliance. We'll see.
That's something that Akshay definitely would call it.
Yeah.
Knowing
100%.
He would love it. He would probably say it every confessional like 5 times. So yeah, there's the Leia and Cooper showdown. That was wonderful. And
or if that's foreshadowing possible Leia and Cooper showdown, later in the game.
I would love to see that. That's something that everyone would love to see. Definitely. I guess other than that, though, it was a pretty thorough beating down of Neela once again.
Yeah.
They were, last time they had a giant lead and blew it. This time they were just like completely outmatched from start to finish, So I think it's funny thinking of, except for that one time where Cooper went up against Shay and it just like wasn't even fair because Shay just like couldn't even reach.
Yeah.
Cooper just like kind of like tapped it down. That was pretty funny. Other than that, though, it seemed like that was the only real show of dominance that Neela had in the challenge.
Shay had some awesome boots, though. She might also be a style icon.
That's true.
Man, Shay and Nikhil, the style icons. Can they just form a style icon alliance, please? I mean, please and thank you.
Fashion.
They are the two that are kind of out of the majority alliance, along with Jess. Are the ones out of the majority alliance.
We've not seen a lot from them yet,
which is disappointing. I mean, I love the majority alliance, don't get me wrong, but I also really enjoy the other three. So like, and I feel like I haven't really got to see a ton of them because they haven't been, extremely essential storylines so far. So I would love to see more of them. I would love to kind of see one of them like work their way up from like being on the bottom. I think probably a tribe swap would help them out. I could say the same for Angela, who's now on her own. I love the alliances that have formed, but I also like rooting for the underdogs. Yeah. And like, as fun as it would just be to see these 2 6-person alliances go at it, I would also kind of be interested to see what happens with like these people that are on the bottom right now and if they can work their way up.
Yeah. So moving on from the challenge, then we come to a segment that I think is honestly one of the best edited, like funniest segments in like any College Survivor season. This idol hunt is just amazing from the very start. When, the text comes up on the screen, like we're watching a spy movie, Matthew Israel tells us the exact time. He starts telling us about what the clue is, and that he is an amateur homicide detective. This is where we get the title of the episode. And that he is just gonna completely beast out finding this idol clue. And he is just so confident like he always is.
Yeah, he said it was his audition to be an FBI agent. Yeah. But I feel like last time I heard he's doing his master's in accounting, so I don't know if that worked out for him.
Oh man. Well, I guess just kind of seeing how it turned out, you can't be surprised anymore on how he got rejected from his FBI agent. I mean, even Burt Macklin at least accomplished more as an FBI agent.
That's true. You know what? The FBI needs accountants too, so maybe he'll be an accountant for the FBI.
That's true. I think that he would be the most intense accountant that they've ever. I think that he's probably the most intense accountant I've ever met. I have an accountant friend who lives back at home, and he's like the whitest person ever. All he does is he just listens to I don't know. I like the pop music. That's pretty probably would say.
Is that the only accountant you know?
Yes, but he is exactly like what I would imagine an accountant to be like. Very wears his button-up shirts. He, lives in West Michigan. He's going to move to Naperville, of all places.
That's great.
And he's what I'd picture an accountant being like. Matthew Israel is not what I picture an accountant being like, because he's a very big personality, I'll say. But
you know what? I know some very fun accountants.
I guess I'm not the raw school for this like you, so I guess I don't know as many accountants. So whatever.
All right.
But the idol thing. At first, it started with Matthew and Brittany were looking together, right? Yeah. Well, maybe that's not, the sequence started with that first, at least.
And Brittany has her dog, which amazing. Wow. I'm all for the animals. Please have as many pets and stuff in this season as possible. A very cute dog.
That's another reason why Brittany is queen.
I think her dog has more screen time than some of the contestants.
That's true.
Oh my gosh. That's kind of true, honestly. Brittany's dog saw a little more action this episode than some other people did. Mm-hmm. But we know what Brittany's dog did not do is find the idol.
No.
And neither did Brittany or Matt. But they did run into Mitch and Cam.
No, Mitch. Nikhil. Yeah.
Mitch and Nikhil. You're right. Just scrap that out. Make it so I don't look dumb.
Keep that in. Make Sam look dumb.
No. So
staying in.
Nikhil finally got his moment on screen. He's seen. It was this really awkward kind of moment of him, Mitch, Matthew, and Brittany all just kind of standing around. He's just like filming it, like ha ha ha! Look at us all looking for the idol. Where they're all like, we all just got caught with our hand in the cookie jar. Yeah. I remember that, but that was like a perfect way of like describing it. I'm curious if anything further will happen with Nikhil, whether him and Mitch will become a real thing, or whether like the rest of them will be threatened by Mitch, or they'll be threatened by Nikhil.
Yeah,
I'm curious because it sounded like I think it was Leia was saying how she felt pretty threatened by Nikhil.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like Mitch really didn't want to associate with Nikhil, and he did a pretty good job of like explaining what happened. So I don't see Mitch working with Nikhil in the future for some reason. I just don't think he wants to.
I feel like if I were them, maybe what I would try to do if I was Mitch, I would maybe try to say, oh, like I got here and Nikhil was already looking for the idol for a while. Like, what if he already has it? And he's just kind of walking around with us. I feel like that could be a good chance to maybe throw the target onto somebody else, especially if you want it to seem like you two are working together, which they really aren't.
That would definitely make it clear that they're not working together if you started throwing them under the bus. I would predict that if like their tribe lost, Nikhil might kind of be the easy target, which would be unfortunate for him, like just having to run into somebody while looking for the idol ends up being the reason he's voted out. I do kind of feel though, like if they were to go to tribal right now, he would probably be my guess as to who gets voted out, just because I kind of feel like he just I don't know, he just like always like someone's got to be the target, and out of the three of them, he just like stuck out because like he just kind of got unlucky and was caught looking for the idol.
And I feel like there's a chance that the girls won't want to vote out another girl, like to keep the option of the 5-person girls alliance in their back pocket.
Could be interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
Jess showed up very late to the first challenge. Just kind of looking like that isn't really factoring in at all. No. I mean, except for like one offhand comment about how like, oh yeah, well, Jess, like we were worried that Jess was going to be working with the guys, but apparently she's not like working with anybody or something like that.
Brittany did mention that she was intimidated by Jess.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, she definitely seems like athletic.
Yeah.
So I guess that could be something or you might worry about for like a challenges, I guess.
That's true.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm curious about how that'll play out.
So after they didn't find the idol, Matt said in his confessional, like he had this whole theory and he was like, could I have been wrong? Probably not, because I'm usually right. And then it switches to Mitch, and Mitch goes, Mom, I tried my best. And that's just like the best character discrepancy, like comparison of Matt and Mitch.
That's perfect.
That's so perfect. Oh man, I bet Mitch's mom raised him to be such a nice boy.
Oh, he is such a nice young man.
I said she's so proud of good old Mitch.
Yeah.
I'm sure Matt's mom is great too, though.
Definitely. I'm definitely sure that she's great and she's very proud of Matthew. But I don't know. I mean, Mitch is the one that'll he would bake you a plate of cookies and feed it to you. I don't know if Matthew's the kind of guy that would do that.
Yeah, I feel like Matthew would do the same, but have poison in the cookies.
That's true. Or it might have Survivor trivia baked into the cookies. When you eat it, you see the trivia. You need to answer it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Matthew, I know you're listening to this, so to take this as an open invite to make cookies for us, and maybe we'll clear your name next episode.
Exactly.
So let's keep that in mind. But I did think, that was funny. that kind of comparison. Not necessarily comparing them as people, but comparing them as characters.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Because obviously, a lot of these people are playing up their characters for the show, or the show's gonna highlight certain aspects of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to make that clear too. Matthew's, like we said last time, not the same person in real life as he is in the show. I think it's definitely fun. I appreciate what he's doing for the show, but that is another thing to note too, that people are playing things up.
Mm-hmm.
But
now for the best part, I thought, of the idol scene. Want to talk about Leia's section?
Oh yes, please.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
So it switches. It kind of foreshadowed when Matt was talking that someone found the idol. What was it? 10:08 and 10:40.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we get Leia, and Leia's like running, like out of breath. There's like intense music going on. And my favorite part was that she found a mop handle just somewhere when she was searching. She started using that to whack the bushes, which I thought was a pretty effective technique because there was a lot of like shrubbery or whatever that was to go through. And she was really efficient. She was like whacking them aside, like no regard for the aesthetic of the building. Building maintenance is probably upset about it, but it doesn't matter because she found the idol.
Oh
my gosh. I know. That was, wow. So, I'm like, honestly, really happy that Leia found it.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
I feel like that's like, she didn't get like the most screen time. And I feel like that's like a cool thing for her to kind of like build her character. And like, I can see her definitely as someone who's a threat, given her like relationship with the 3 girls, relationship with the 6-person alliance. And now she has the idol too.
And she has a relationship with Cooper and the other tribe.
Exactly. And nobody caught her looking for the idol. She, if any other 4 would have found it when they were looking together, they would have all known about it. But Leia's the person that found it, and nobody knows now.
It just shows how competitive she is. Like, she was able to just like run right down there, grab it, and run back before anybody had any idea.
Yeah, all while Matthew's talking. She's out there getting it done. So that
she's the definition of a ninja. That's what she is.
Definitely, yeah. She's a ninja. So the ninja and the fox.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll think of Animal Story at some point. But
do you guys think that Leia's going to tell anyone about the idol?
I feel like we haven't really seen a lot of Leia and Cooper talking yet, have we? Like,
not yet. But
so, like, I know they know each other. Like, I don't know how close they are at this point of friendships. Like, do they just know of each other, or are they actually good friends? So maybe if they do have this good relationship, I could see her kind of telling him, and if they continue to work together. But I don't see her telling anybody, at least not the full 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's smart. She's definitely not going to, like, I don't think she's going to blab to, like, everyone. She might tell maybe, like, 1 or 2 people.
Yeah.
I don't know. The thing is, you tell 1 or 2 people, but all of a sudden that multiplies.
That's true.
That 1 or 2 people decides to tell somebody else. So it kind of like goes to the question of like, how smart is it to tell someone about your idol, and like why are you telling them? Like, is there really a reason you should?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess my personal opinion is if you find it, you probably shouldn't tell anybody. But I think there are situations where it helps build trust. So.
Yeah, it's also a good way to make a close relationship with somebody early on.
That's
like
very true.
If somebody like shows you the idol, then you're like, wow, I know that they trust me enough to show me this. So it really kind of just depends on the situation. It depends on who you tell it to, if they're trustworthy or not. Yeah, I don't think we got a confessional with her about her thoughts on finding the idol. We just kind of got her finding it and like, but like, so I think we'll have to wait till next episode to see like what her thoughts are on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all of Maison we're gonna see for this episode.
No, there's one more thing though. There's Matthew finding a stick and thinking that he can make a fake idol out of it.
Wow.
I think that was. I really hope that shows up next episode. And who knows? Maybe Nikhil will find it. Maybe Mitch will. Maybe one person in the 6 will find it. I don't know.
Who knows?
I would love to see that stick be. It definitely. I was just surprised at that because it definitely doesn't look like an idol at all. He was like, "Oh, this could be a really good fake idol." We're just like, Matt, like that. This looks like a stick.
He's just trying to be Ozzy. Maybe he was Ozzy in another life.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
Who
great.
knows?
You know,
I don't think Ozzy. I think Matthew's thought more about strategy than Ozzy has in his entire life already.
that's
So
probably true.
probably has more strategic confessionals than Ozzy has in his 4 seasons playing Survivor.
Yeah, very true.
And one of our friends from season 2 is a huge Ozzy fan.
Whoa, spoilers.
And it just makes me think how Ozzy's such a great character, but the interesting thing about College Survivor is that like there isn't really any chance for an Ozzy to be a character because like a lot of his character was built around like him providing for the tribe from like fishing and hunting and stuff that like obviously isn't going to happen on a college campus. It just makes you think of how the interesting thing about College Survivor is how like it's just a very different game. You're never going to have an Ozzy or a Rupert, but you are going to have different types of people that like, you know, you're also not going to have as many like college students with exams like on Real Survivor.
And you have a much greater chance of people knowing each other and of talking to people in the other tribe, which almost makes it like a one world situation, you know?
True, yeah. I mean, you're never going to have the Alexes on Real Survivor, but I mean, you're not going to have 2 people who are roommates doing a confessional together. Which we saw multiple times happen in this episode.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, I think it's funny how the Alexes do their confessionals together now. Like they don't even try to be separate anymore. They're just like we're gonna film it together.
They want to be separate for like all of like 5 seconds in the first episode, and now they're just like they're literally hanging out together. Like people are talking about them as like, oh yeah, Alex and Alex.
They're in a 3-person alliance. Like
But the thing is, they're always like, I think Tarowski's always like, we didn't want this to happen. Like, we didn't want to be so closely associated. And, like, everything they didn't want to happen keeps happening.
Yeah.
And
I feel so bad. Oh, poor Alex's.
They were talking about their bromance. Like, there was, like, they didn't specifically say bromance, but one of them was, like, we were just, like, attracted to each other in the game. Well, and then I think Thal was, like, everything about us is so similar. Like, we even have the same intonation in our voices.
I feel like Tarowski kind of has an accent too.
Yeah. Tarowski has an East Coast accent.
I'm not that good at doing that kind of accent, so I don't know.
I am. So for my name, I know people are from the East Coast if they say Sarah instead of Sarah. Yeah. And he says Sarah.
Sarah.
And then Thal is from the West Coast, so he does not have that accent.
Yeah, that's true. Tarowski, I thought the two of them were really funny, especially when they were talking about the whole like Lavana whatever mind wave sending messages via brave wavelength thing. Like they're really funny talking about that.
That was hilarious.
So I'm curious about what'll happen with them. It kind of showed this episode that like, you know, they're definitely okay with being close and being in the same alliances and doing confessionals together, you know.
I guess let's start to talk more about the strategic part of it. So we know that Jonathan and Angela are on the bottom from the last vote. So let's talk about like what their game plan was, what they were trying to do, because I knew that they were down in numbers, so they had to flip it on somebody. So it seems like their core argument was just like, we have 2 votes, we'll vote for whoever you want us to write their name down. We're just basically human extra votes. Like just we're an advantage for you. Just tell us who to vote for and we'll do it.
That is good logic. Like, but the thing is, they went to both of the 3s. And then the 3s who are aligned, they like talk to each other. And so then that's where like their argument becomes a little weaker because they like kind of said that to everyone. But the argument itself makes sense.
I mean, I can see also like the argument makes sense, and I don't necessarily know what's. I mean, I can see how it could backfire if you talk to both of them. But the whole entire strategy is based upon the fact that you're hoping that the 2 3s are separate from each other. Yeah. Because if either one of them is separate, then they will go for it.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're not separate means that they'll tell each other about it. But either way, if they told each other about it, that means they were never going to flip in the first place. So I think
that makes sense.
They're kind of stuck in like there isn't a bind where it's like there's a 6-person alliance, and why would you make a 6-person alliance a 5-person alliance? I don't think that any of the rest of them really have a desire to do that. And like it's really unfortunate because you know Jonathan and Angela just kind of like ended up on the wrong side of the vote, and now it's kind of like they don't really have a chance now. Yeah, it's just the way that it happened last time, you know.
Yeah, I think they did everything they could have, and they couldn't even have, because like the other side had 6, so they could have split it. So they couldn't even have pulled any like fake idol thing. So I really think they did pretty much everything.
Yeah, and Jonathan, he was a great character.
Yeah.
During
I love Jonathan. I wish he was longer.
Oh yeah, me too.
Oh yeah, he was hilarious. Definitely like disappointed to see him go so early. I thought that he would be able to form really good social relationships that could kind of carry him through. Clearly he did with Angela and Sarah, and just like ended up not shaking out the right way for him.
Yeah. Can we talk a little bit more about I think that what really did him in wasn't really anything this week, but it was the fact that Cooper, Lavana, and Akshay swung away from his 3 last week. So what do you think he could have done better, or what did he do wrong in not securing that 6 to be the 6?
I think it was because for some reason the plan was Jonathan wanted to vote Saul, and then Saul was like, no, I don't want to be the first one out. And then he was like, all right, I won't vote you then. And I think when Cooper heard that story, he was like, well, that's not how we want to play here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still a little bit fuzzy on the exact reason that the trio swapped from Jonathan over to the Alexes. I mean,
wait, actually, Akshay had more info about this. Let's call Akshay.
All right. So we're now calling Akshay to get some real inside info. Our first
more
guest.
inside info.
Akshay.
Akshay.
What's up, Sam, Sarah, Jack? How's it going?
Yeah.
Hey,
Good,
you're on our podcast right now.
Yeah. Welcome to Keep Your Torch Lit, our first guest ever.
I'm a big fan. I heard last week, and I was like, damn, I need to be on that podcast.
Wow. I'm surprised that we have fans. I personally thought that it would just be us listening to our own voices, when we got bored or something. But wow, we actually have a real fan, like a real person.
A real fan. It's true.
Well,
so we don't want to take up too much of your time, but we're kind of discussing the first week's vote where you, Cooper, and Lavana flipped over and stuck with the Alexes and voted out Sarah. So what was kind of some of your reasoning behind that? Because we didn't really get a lot on the episode about why you decided to go with them.
Yeah, the first thing was we did lose the first challenge, so we just did want to keep a few stronger people in the game, so that kind of automatically saved the Alexes. And one thing that I don't think was really shown on the episode was Sarah was basically controlling that entire puzzle. Like, Kara and Angela, who were actually on the puzzle, were just listening to whatever Sarah said. So right off the bat, we were just like, okay, so she effed up, got it. And then once me and Cooper made up the story that Sarah and Angela may have been friends. Like, we weren't really sure, but we just pushed that story super hard. And now looking back on it and knowing Cooper had a connection with Leia, maybe that's why he was pushing it so hard.
Yeah.
But so we just combined everything, to push it onto Sarah. And then the reason we picked Sarah over Jonathan was because Jonathan was, pretty much acknowledged by a snake to be a snake. So we were just like, he can't work with the Alexes. They think he's a snake. Sarah could jump over if we keep her in after betraying her. So let's take out Sarah instead.
Interesting. So then, what made you want to vote out Jonathan then the next week instead of Angela?
So another thing not really being shown is I talked to Angela both the first week and right after that meeting they showed in the second episode at Buffalo Wild Wings. Angela texted me separately, and we met up right after that at the Ugly. And she told me she's not really associated with Jonathan. She got forced to be associated with him, and she would work with me completely. So I really felt like I would have Angela if we went to tribal again. It would be trio versus trio with Angela in the middle. So I was just like, okay. And I told Cooper that I was like, I think I have Angela, whereas Jonathan is a snake. If we go to a swap, he'll turn on us in 2 seconds, whereas Angela might still stick with us. So let's keep Angela instead.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. I saw a little bit of that in her voting confessional where she was like, I don't want to seem like I'm with, the other people. But thank you so much for giving us some more background on that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I remember watching it and going, okay, I have no idea why we would be voting the way we are, and I was living it. So
it made the episode really exciting because you had no idea what was going to happen. You were like, oh man, is it going to be Kara? Is it going to be Sarah? And it was like an awesome blindside. But at the same time,
that first vote was fun, for sure. And that was very first vote. I even said in my voting confessional, it didn't get shown because it would have been too obvious. I was like, Sarah, I'm sitting right next to you, and I think you're about to be blindsided. This is going to be amazing. It was just my fanboy came out.
Oh my gosh. Amazing.
Wow.
Akshay, what is it like watching yourself on YouTube?
I'm not gonna lie, I hate myself. I'm watching myself and being like, dude, shut up. You're so disgusting. And like I'm making these like weird hand signals, and I'm like, I don't do that in real life. Why the hell am I doing that on camera? And it's just, I literally have no memory of anything I've said. I'm seeing things that I'm saying in confessionals. I'm like, when did I say that? Like apparently I caught that the Alexes might have been friends, and I don't even remember saying that. So I was like, what the hell is happening?
That's awesome.
That's great.
You like black out during the confessionals.
Basically, it was just. I guess it was just so long ago, and we've done. I think we're on our third season of Survivor after that, so it's just like my focus kind of shifted, and I just completely forgot everything I did during my season. So now I'm just like, wait, I said that? I did that? What the hell am I doing? And it's just like there's a domino effect.
Well, can you tell us about Jonathan's pronunciation of Kara as Kara?
Okay, so
what?
I don't know what happened that week. Like, Jonathan just took out all of his anger about being betrayed on Kara. So he was like planning. He was gonna plan on just messing up her name when he wrote her name down on the vote, and like literally write Kara with like U and like 10 H's afterwards.
Oh my god!
But then, like, because the vote shifted to Tarowski, he was just like, all right, let me just call her Kara in every single one of my confessionals instead.
Wait, that was another thing people were confused about. It was like why everyone hated Kara so much. Do you know, like, do you have any like insider insight on why Kara rubbed people the wrong way?
I would 100% have insider info on why people don't 100% get along with Kara. So Kara has, I don't want to say no filter, she has negative filter. Like, she will say anything that comes to her mind and then some, even if it could piss someone off. So, like, I know that rubbed a few people the wrong way for sure, and, like, you don't see it much now, but it gets worse and worse later on as the season goes. So, I know a lot of people, and, like, Jonathan is very, like, he will tell you how he's feeling at all times also. So, I think those two really just were not fans of each other.
Interesting.
Huh. That makes sense. They just their personalities just don't mesh.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Akshay? We do not think you're annoyed at all. We think you're hilarious.
Yeah, we love you.
You're killing it right now. And we hope that you continue killing it in the future episodes.
Yeah. We'd love to call you back and some more.
Yes.
Thank you for allowing me on this wonderful podcast that I'm a big fan of. And if you ever need any more insider information, even if I didn't go to Tribal that week, I would love to give you some.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
Amazing.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Akshay.
Right. Good luck with your podcast, guys.
Thanks again.
Wow, that was some juicy information we got.
Oh, man.
Yeah, this is why you guys got to keep listening to this podcast. Where else would you get all this juicy information?
All the juicy information, all the gossip. We're Gossip Central.
Yeah.
Season 1.
So, yeah, it definitely seems like Jonathan kind of went wrong in the first week of just being perceived like as a snake. I think, that meeting with Thal that kind of went wrong. Just him trying to like really like talk with everybody. I don't know how much of it was avoidable or how much of it was like people just putting that target on him. But yeah.
I think it was great how he brought wine to Tribal.
Yeah.
Though.
Oh my gosh. I love Jonathan so much, and like I'm definitely gonna miss his like snarky confessionals, bringing wine to Tribal, all his antics.
I know his antics.
Yeah. I love how he poured it into a solo cup and handed one to Angela as well.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah. I guess another takeaway I have from that is that like I think this kind of makes it seem like the best strategy to do if you know you're outnumbered that much is just don't like try too hard of trying to like break into the other thing. Like if there's no other option, try to just sell out your other person. And I think that's what Angela did really well here is that like, she made a connection with Akshay, and that ended up being partially maybe what saved her.
Definitely. I did think that Jonathan was definitely smart. He definitely knew. I mean, he was pretty because he had a confessional talking about Cooper being dangerous and like the fact that he had connections with almost everybody. I think the Alexes mentioned that too, and how they're like, yeah, Cooper seems to be close to everybody, which is threatening. But I also still feel like he's close to us. It's like that's a crazy thing. It's a brilliant thing to be outwardly so like liked and like everyone knows that you are, but they also still think they're not threatened by it. Jonathan, I think he kind of saw through that, but Jonathan's gone now.
Oh, sad. Oh, I also noticed, this is kind of random, but Lavana finally learned how to pronounce Akshay. She was saying Ashkay for the longest time.
Yeah, she didn't remember Cooper's name or Akshay's name. They're both in her line.
She also mentioned, I thought it was interesting, she said that she was like the puppet master. I didn't think that was like, I didn't think she thought of herself like that, but it's interesting.
It's because she knows everything. Remember?
Exactly.
She's really is.
Oh, right, because of her telepathy.
So she not just read minds or tell people things in her mind, because she also like control minds. So she has mind control. Is that what she means by puppet master? She can literally make these people do things. Like,
she's got some powers we don't know about.
For sure. We're gonna have to see if these powers be revealed little by little in the next, preceding episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So last time we said George forgot to say tally the votes, but we got some insider info that he actually did say it. It was just too windy to hear, so it got cut out. But I did notice that this time he said, "I'll get the votes," which is like, it's a step up.
Close.
We're getting there. Maybe next time it'll be tally the votes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll get the votes is better than nothing. So working his way. I still think it's crazy how they were able to like film and produce this. Only 2 people. Yeah, it's absurd. Like, and he's He's also like, in it because he's the host. Like, I think that's ridiculous and crazy how they were able to do that.
Let's move on to everyone's favorite part.
My favorite part.
Keep Your Torch Lit. Our social media.
Social media.
Okay, so previously on social media, I sent Alex Tarowski a friend request. What do you call it on LinkedIn? Do you know Sarah Russell?
It's like a connection request or something.
Well, I sent him a connection request, and you all will be pleased to know that I am now connected with Alex Tarowski, corporate investment banking analyst at Mizuho Bank on LinkedIn.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yay!
I think that we should do real quick, give him like a skill endorsement. What is Alex's top skill?
Is there like a scheming one?
Having a roommate.
Like networking?
Having a roommate is skill.
But there's at least these 4 options where I can endorse him for social media, finance, data analysis, or sports.
Ooh, put sports.
Sports? Yeah.
Sports.
I think he hasn't performed that well in either challenge. They haven't won anything yet, his tribe.
I feel like the kind of person that would
That's
like
true.
sports.
He will, so.
But I actually don't know him enough to know what his top skill is.
Yeah.
I guess maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe there'll be a data analysis or a finance challenge. We'll see if he wins it.
Akshay requested to connect with Jack shortly after this, so I think we should endorse him too.
Let's go.
Let's go endorse
so
Akshay.
Akshay's already obviously a huge fan of the pod. So where is he? All right, yeah. So yeah, I have not accepted his yet. So Akshay,
what?
Sport management student at the University of Michigan. I am now accepting it live on air.
Wow. That's crazy.
All right. So what can I endorse him for?
Well, what are the options?
Where can I endorse? I don't know how this LinkedIn works. Sarah, you should be doing this. You're the Ross.
Oh my gosh, Jack.
I don't know.
How do you?
I don't even have LinkedIn.
Here, let me go on. Sam doesn't even have LinkedIn, but he's an entrepreneurship minor.
Well, that's probably something I should get then.
Yeah. You know what? I'm already connected with Akshay. I'm gonna endorse him as well. Oh, what is Akshay's top skill? We have leadership, easily adaptable, teamwork, and communication. I'm going to put easily adaptable.
I'm going to say communication. I feel like he's communicating everything pretty well in this season of Survivor. He's pretty funny. He just communicated with us, some of his reasoning behind the first 2 votes. I don't know. That's my opinion.
I'm really curious about Brittany's grandmother.
Yes.
What kind of thing she's up to, what kind of person she is.
She is a queen.
So I am friends with Brittany Silverman on Facebook, but I do not think I'm friends with her nan, so we might have to do some research. Do we know anything about her nan other than...
Go into her friends.
Okay. So she has family members linked.
Ooh.
Do we see a grandmother? We have grandfather.
Oh, wait. We have a granddaughter.
She has a granddaughter.
Brittany has a granddaughter?
This may be just those silly little jokes you play in middle school saying, I'll make you my granddaughter.
Yeah.
What if she actually does?
I have 5 mothers on my Facebook.
I say, let's look at...
Wait, guys. In her family members, there's someone called Erin Weingarten, which is Leia's last name.
Oh my gosh. Oh. Jewish geography.
Is that the connection? The connection was that Leia's second cousin is her BFF. Here it says sister, so that's
Yeah,
probably what it
sister.
means.
Yeah,
You know, sister on
that's
Facebook
true.
is BFF.
All right, let's look through Brittany. Does she have any pictures tagged with her? No, that's her mom. Can we find her grandma?
Oh, there's Cooper.
Oh,
I'm going into her friends and typing in Silverman.
Her
oh wait,
dog-
is that?
It's Susie Merkel.
Susie Merkel? Is that it?
You found it?
Susie Merkel. Is this her? Is this the same Nan?
Should we ask Brittany?
Can you call Brittany?
Yeah.
Brittany.
Brittany!
Hi, what's up?
Welcome to Keep Your Torch Lit.
How's it going?
Great.
We are on the social media segment right now, and we were trying to find your Nana on Facebook.
Yeah, this is all of our burning question from this week's episode. Can you tell us more about your Nana?
So she's on Facebook, but she has a blank profile picture and doesn't use it. So I don't think you're gonna find much from her on social media. She has a different last name.
It's a little mysterious then. We found Susie Merkel.
Is that your mom?
That's my mom. Her mom is Linda Merkel.
Is what?
Linda Merkel. Oh, right.
Linda Merkel, the blank profile picture.
Oh,
We
there
found
she
it.
is.
We officially found
One mutual friend, which is Brittany's own.
it. Look at that. So we ended up doing
Because
it.
of my mom.
Brittany was the last piece of the puzzle we needed
Yeah.
in order to find her Nana.
Oh, thank you.
Another successful social media segment.
Yeah. Wait. So, and while we have you, so you watch a lot of Survivor with your Nana. Can you tell us who's Linda's favorite Survivor player ever? What are some memories from watching with her?
Honestly, who is her favorite Survivor player? I feel like she likes more of the classics. Like, people from really early on, like
Yeah.
Boss. I don't want to say Boston Rob. I'm not saying Boston Rob. Like Ozzy, Amanda, Serene.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
From like that, because that's what she really remembers.
Yeah, they're all great.
Is
But
Nana?
in that episode, like, I clearly don't articulate my words properly in that first confessional, so I don't know if you even understand what I'm saying. But we've watched every episode together since literally I was 3 years old, and so we watched it together. And then since then, we watch it every Thursday and now Wednesday night.
That's adorable.
We still do. Wait, has she seen the first 2 episodes of Survivor Michigan, Victor's Valiant?
So she saw episode 1. My mom is really trying to be part of this podcast right now.
Yeah.
Wait, bring her up.
You guys are so loud. She saw episode 1, and then episode 2, she could not see it to properly play it. It was a black screen on her computer with
weird.
George's voice blasting throughout her house for a few days. And so I just ran over to her house. We drove over just to set it up. She's currently watching it as we speak.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
I wonder.
That's cute.
What was her thoughts in episode 1?
Honestly, I don't think she really had that. I think it's honestly a little hard for people, especially like older generation and our parents, like perfectly follow these along just because they don't know like any characters. So I don't think she knows who anyone is yet. But I think she liked it overall. I couldn't tell you if she actually understood it.
Yeah.
She'll figure it out. And while I was over, I just fast forwarded to the part that she's in, and her face dropped. I sent her a video from watching it.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Aww.
Well, I
had one other question, like, because you were talking about your super fanness and everything. How many buffs do you own in your buff collection?
So I have 4 books, but 2 were sent to me for free. So my dad and I have together tried to get finale tickets since I was 14. So that's how. So George doesn't show it in the episode. But I made an Instagram account before my real Instagram. I made Survivor Superfan 22, but you're not going to find it online because the account's been deleted.
No.
Wait, Brittany.
I don't know. You can just search me, but I don't think anything will come up. But I made the account just to reach out to contestants. There was no DM back then, so this was just like commenting on their pictures, I guess.
Oh my god.
To try to get tickets. And that's when I played in online games and everything.
That's awesome.
That's amazing. That was your Instagram?
Yeah, so that was my Instagram account. And I didn't delete it until my freshman year of college.
to go back to the Fox though really fast, so I emailed so many people at CBS and called so many times that they just got annoyed by me, and they sent me a huge package with like 2 signed posters of Jack, $2,
Oh my gosh.
a hat. I think just to like get me to stop contacting them.
That is awesome. Wow.
I think my online games.
It looks
I
like
know. I think we found one of your online games. So, like, you played a lot of online Survivor before, Survivor Michigan too, right?
Yeah, I played from, so this was when I was 14, 15. So I didn't, honestly, I may have played in the game like freshman college. So I played from like 14 or 15 till that online on Instagram.
Looks like you got 4th place.
Yeah, we found Survivor's World Apart Credo. And it looks like 4th place was Stacy, aka at Survivor Superfan 22.
I don't even remember that game. So the main account I played on was Survivor Superfan. I played in her games, and I won that. I played maybe like 5 games, and I won 3 out of the 5.
Wow.
Dang.
Whoa.
Well, little self-flex there.
Wow.
We'll see how I do in Survivor.
Yeah.
Wait, so was Stacy like your screen name for these games?
I guess you play as a player, so I played a lot as like, who did I play as? Like Amanda.
Oh, like an actual player. Okay.
Yeah, you play as a real player, and there's basically like challenges or like just Survivor trivia and little games, and then you actually like vote people out there chatting with the DM feature, but those didn't exist. So it was just like comments on random like photos, and then you decided to vote out. So you just have to have a really good social game, basically.
That's cool. Yeah, really good social media game.
Yeah.
I guess so. It's so good.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, so I'm so glad to have you on this social media segment of
Keep your torch lit.
Perfect. Wait, also a little more inside information. Do you know the background of that name? Keep your torch lit.
I'm a Survivor poster. This one was not sent to me quickly. This one I got from my opponent at my junior year of college because it's blue and matched the walls in my room. But at the bottom, it's a map of like all the countries and cities Survivor's been in, and at the bottom it says "Keep your torch lit."
Wow.
So I used that as a puzzle phrase, season 2.
That is
wow.
Wow. So literally, if it weren't for you, Brittany, we would not be here.
You would not have that podcast.
Yeah.
Well, we would have we might be here with a different name.
Yeah,
we might not be here at all. You never know.
Never thought.
Right.
Thank you so much for giving us the name and for coming on.
Yeah.
You are always welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, would love to have you on when you guys actually go to Tribal Council so we can get into some strategy talk. But thanks for talking about your name.
I would love to show you guys that I can actually speak because whoever is shown in episode 42 is not me.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Sounds good.
All right.
Okay,
See you later.
bye.
Bye, Brittany.
Bye.
That's another wonderful guest.
Yeah.
2 great guests this week. We are so lucky.
Should we finish up with some YouTube comments?
Oh, of course.
Yes.
The
YouTube
where do you want to start?
comments.
So Ryba, they're the person we looked at last week.
Yeah,
aren't they?
Ryba, big fan. Thanks for watching Ryba.
For a second, I was scared that Tarowski would be eliminated, but I'm glad he's still there. Well, Ryba's definitely.
Okay.
We were wondering if Ryba actually was Tarowski.
Yeah.
Or Fall, but we found out last week that it's inconclusive, but probably not. Maybe he's just a Tarowski or an Alex.
An Alex Stan, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. But also, the thing is, he responded to Matthew Israel's comment. So Matthew said, long story short, I should not become a homicide detective. I'm glad he was also able to take that away from the episode. But then Ryba responded, you're the man. The best character and strategist out of the cast, easily. Hope you go far. So it seems like he might be betraying his Alex love. And now he might be moving on to the Matthew Israel club.
Yeah, he's very into a lot of these players. He's a fan of all of them, basically. we like Ryba.
Big Ryba fans. I think it's really cool. Jonathan actually went on and wrote an entire long comment about this episode and his experience. It's kind of long, so we have to read the whole thing, but basically says, first, I'm thoroughly drunk right now, as you should expect from me bringing wine to the second travel. This is completely on brand. I'm literally weeping right now. I have some things to say, and you should all listen, please. So first of all, he's kind of going back on his thing that Kara is a strong, smart, independent woman. So, it definitely, I'm glad that it seems like they're able to patch things up and that, make close. He tells us that there's so much that he did not see. Like, that the Dream Team, in quotes, was the first alliance they formed in this game. And was the Dream Team, was that the original six with Cooper and Akshay and Lavana?
Yes.
Yeah. So, you said I had a powwow with Cooper, Lavana, and Akshay without Angela that lasted hours. That just so happened not to be shown this episode. And then they were the ones to bring out Zaraski's name. Yeah, so that's definitely some more cool inside information. Thank you, Jonathan. And then he tells us that, George sheds this footage so the audience does not know the entire story because, like as we said earlier, there's so much of stuff that happens in even Survivor Michigan, even with our longer run times on episodes sometimes that doesn't make the cut. So, I think we all know that, Jonathan, and I was kind of criticizing parts of this game earlier, but that's just something I want to start doing on this show is, break down why people lost. I really think I'm so glad Jonathan came really to play. I think he actually, played pretty well. And if he was able to get some more time being safe, if maybe was able to, if their tribe was able to win some challenges, he could swap over. I could see him flipping over to the other tribe and doing pretty well. So I'm so thankful we got to see Jonathan, even if it was only for 2 episodes.
Yeah. He's killing it now in law school.
Yeah.
I think with that, we're just about good.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited that we actually have some viewers. Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Really appreciate you guys actually, for some reason, be able to stand our voices for so long.
So, keep watching Survivor Michigan. Keep listening to us. Tell all of your friends about both. It's been a pleasure talking with both of you, Sam and Sarah.
Aw, check.
Alright. I love you guys.
Love you too.
Love you guys.
Bye.
This just turned into a love fest.
Oh, no one wants to listen to this. Alright, bye.
Join us next week for another episode of Keep Your Torch Lit.